Alright, I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back I started a review of Elden Ring characters because Elden Ring has a decently large cast of characters. So we've gone over a bunch of them, the Limgrave people and the Liurnia people, but we're still missing a bunch, and a bunch of goodies too. So I thought we'd go back to it today. We talk about some character design, we talk about like the stuff we've seen in the story, because we got everything from the art book in here that we can like chat shit about. And just discuss the cast of Elden Ring, because I am actually obsessed with this game. I 100%ed it, and I had a great time with it. So without further ado, let's get back into the cast of Elden Ring.
I didn't notice you there.
Okay, Sage Gowry. Now... You can find him in Caelid. He gives you basically, I think, rot incantations. He kickstarts the quest for another character that we're going to talk about in a bit. But the thing I like about Sage Gowry is that he's usually not moving much. He's like sitting in a chair and he has like these like ochre, almost iron-stained robes. Like they don't look dyed red, they look stained. They're super gross, super worn down, and very, very red because like his thing is that like he worships the Scarlet Rot, right? So any character that has to do with Caelid or the Scarlet Rot will have a color scheme similar to this one, which is very much like a burnt orange, a sickly looking orange even. And to complement that gross sickliness that the character has, he has like really, really pallid skin. There's no warmth in his skin at all. It's just like really deathly pale. And his robes are fucking super tattered and destroyed. The hood covers a good chunk of his face. But I do like that his design is relatively simple for like someone who's like into the Scarlet Rot, if that makes sense. This is some of like the concept art that he has. So this doesn't really show that much because he actually doesn't look super like this in game. He's actually not human, if I recall correctly. But usually when he's sitting down and like at his chair, you don't see how cool his pointed hood is and just how fucking destroyed his outfit is. He also has like this weird instrument on his person. I like it though because the hood makes him look kind of gross, nasty, almost like insect-like. And it kind of just shows, like, that very gross red color scheme. He is a strange dog. He's a weird creature, you know?
If you are wise, you will leave immediately.
Okay, this is actually a character that I've been meaning to get to talk to for, like, a bit. Millicent, right? So Millicent is another character you can encounter in Caelid. She has a pretty involved quest, if you want to find her. She is related to Malenia's quest, believe it or not. And her design is actually fairly simple. Sadly, Millicent doesn't have, like, official concept art that I know of for some reason or another, but she basically has very vivid red hair. She is infected with Scarlet Rot. She's, like, very ill. Her eyes are gold. She is missing an arm, probably rotted off because, like, that does that. And her outfit is, again, much like a lot of people in Caelid, the outfit of someone who... It was probably clean and very pretty at some point, but now it's just been annihilated, you know? Like, it's covered in blood or rot, super tattered, super dirty, but still has, like, the air of someone who used to dress very nicely. She is a very cute but sad character. The thing I like about her design, though, is that, like, if you do her quest, you can actually give her a prosthetic arm, which is golden, and that really offsets her look a lot and makes her look a lot more confident, and she also ties her hair back. But this is how you initially find her in a church of, like, rot in Caelid, and you can help her if you want to. I would always suggest that you do, because the side quests in Elden Ring are really fun. I sent you a picture of the official toy where she is on her second form. Oh, thank you, yeah. Toy, that's a figure, dipshit. So this is what she looks like after you start her quest. She pulls her hair back, her tunic gets cleaned up a little bit, and you can actually give her this prosthetic arm, which she can use to fight. She has a beautiful face, golden eyes, looks a lot like Malenia for actual lore reasons that have to do with Malenia, and it's just a very simple outfit regardless. She needs a hug, she needs several hugs, but she won't let you touch her at first because of the rot.
We love casting spells.
This is a magic Ankh, predominantly green color scheme. This is one of the people who are like, oh, I'm like in touch with the forces of the universe or whatever. They almost seem to be turning into stone, into like glintstone, which is what you use to cast magic in Elden Ring. And they have a very like sage vibe to them, but they look deranged. Their fits are all very mystic, obviously, but they're not like the Rylcaria ones where it's like very like scholarly and academic, like midnight blue robes with red accents. They're more like darker colors and darker grays. And for Azur, he has like a lot of feathers, a lot of like silver medallions, and predominantly very green. A lot of green crystals everywhere. Like, at first I thought that like the green crystals were just a part of his cape. No, I think that's actually his body. But he does have concept art, so let's see that in a bit more detail. I love concept art that has designs that are so complex that you have to fucking color block them when you're showing them off. So you can see how they actually broke down the shapes for this character because he has a few layers. He has like the base robe, then his arms are in yellow, then he has like a little like feathered stole, and then a few layers of crystals before his head. So that's actually a really, really insanely cool bit of concept art. And it's something that if you're making a character, if you're designing a character that has a complex outfit, it is advisable to color block stuff like this. Or at the very least, break the outfit down into its separate parts so you know how to draw everything in case something comes off, gets torn, you'd show them getting dressed, something like that, you know? And you can actually see right next to it how they actually use that breakdown to design the character. Interesting thing to know about Azur is that his hands are heavily bandaged and also covered in crystal growth, so like this fucker is becoming a rock no matter what happens, you know? You can also tell that like they abandoned Raya Lucaria because the robes that they're wearing is kind of like a very worn down version. The remnants of the blue dye from the Raya Lucaria robes right underneath all that, and also the gold on the red, which is basically Carrion colors. I do like that the most striking thing about this is the crystals on his shoulders. It's a very top-heavy design, but they balanced it by giving it a lot of weight on the bottom as well. But it's a beautiful design, and I love seeing the breakdown as well. There's so much detail into everything that they made for Elden Ring that I'm actually so happy that I have all of these. When I first found this dude, I was expecting like an explanation of what the fuck Primeval sorcery was. He said nothing.
Swag Messiah.
Oh, this one's even worse. When you find Lusat, he's already dead. Like... This one, I'm going to have to rely heavily on the concept art to actually show you guys the design, but you will notice that the main thing is like, bulbous orb! The pondering orb is just Lusat, okay? And this one is turning into like blue, like lapis lazuli colored glintstone. It's a similar design to Azur, and again, these are some of the most bomb.com design in the game, but also the easiest to miss. Is he okay? He's super dead. So, similar to Azur, this guy is already heavily crystallized because he's turning into glintstone. Arms are incredibly bandaged, rock growths everywhere, and with Lusat, I think it's a little bit more obvious that his head has like almost entirely become an orb of glintstone. Most glintstone sorcerers wear, I like to call them the Burger King masks, but if you do too much Primeval's glintstone, your Burger King mask can actually fuse to you and you can become like stone. It's actually one of those things that I only found out about it through extensive reading of the wiki and like researching into it, because Elden Ring, the game, doesn't tell you. And the fucking funniest shit is, again, you can miss this. You can miss all of this. Like, all of this is optional fucking character quests that you can meet, and you can be like, wait a minute, this was for something? Yeah, you could find Lusat, and nothing happens unless you're doing Selen's quest. The cool thing about this design, though, is that the shape language is what I like to call a sinister friend shape. They're supposed to be good guys, quote-unquote. They just explored magic a bit too far. So it's a very round, very like gentle sloped shoulders, but the silhouette is still chaotic as shit because of all the frayed edges in his robes, the fabric, the jagged edges of the glintstone, even growing out of like the sphere. It's supposed to be off-putting. It's supposed to be like really, really weird, which is why I personally really like this. Like, even though the designers knew that Lusat is like a fucking corpse you find in a dungeon somewhere for like 2 seconds, they still put so much love and care into this design. And it still, like, fits the setting so well. It's so creepy. It's so off-putting. It's very much Elden Ring. And he looks so important. And you can miss the side quest entirely. Finger Maiden, Therolina. I don't remember you. Oh, wait, no, yes, I do. One of the characters that we're going to talk about today, which is Radahn, he actually has a pretty involved boss fight. And, like, the premise of the fight is that you go into, like, his castle, right, for the Festival of War or whatever. And this is actually one of the NPCs that you can meet there before the boss fight, and you can actually summon her in. So she's very Glupshito coded. She doesn't even have concept art. She's just wearing the Finger Maiden robes, which is pretty cool. Finger Maidens also have, like, weird gold eyes. Melina has, like, one of them. And, like, very bloodstained, very, like, meh. She's one of Celebos's. Oh, yeah. The puppet thing is super fucking creepy. Finger Maiden who never met her Tarnished. Might have been yours. She might have been ours, actually. She might have been ours because, like, these characters have the express purpose of accompanying people like the Tarnished, like your playable character, into trying to become Elden Lord. So some people theorize that Celebos turned her into a puppet before she could meet you. But it's okay, because I got the hot ghost lady with the one close eye instead. You can basically use Therolina to get an idea of what finger maidens are supposed to look like, which is just very simple, ritualistic robes, rope belts, a nice hood, and golden eyes. So they're very, very normal. They're very chill. The fuck is a finger maiden? It's an Elden Ring thing. They let you level up.
This fortress houses only the vanquished. But when the stars align, we celebrate.
Oh, I love Castellan Jerren. He was like Radahn's aide. He has a really, really fun design because it's like Harlequin coded, but old man. It's like he has like a fucking sack over his head and like a really big scraggly sword. But he's also one of the most colorful characters in Elden Ring, which is funny. You don't expect a ton of color in the cast of Elden Ring because the game's color palette is very desaturated. But Jerren is like bright, bright. So, Jerren is actually super fucking funny because it's very clearly, like, Radahn's old either advisor or castle jester or something that now presides over this festival of war. His job is basically to gather warriors and trying to see if he can find someone that can gank his boss. He is also a witch hunter, so he is tied to Selen's quest as well. Look at him! His clothes have been, like, destroyed by time. Incredibly tattered, worn down, still very, very bright, mind you, but like frayed edges, like a bajillion wrinkles, giant beard, like he's barely armed anymore, but he's still doing it because the codpiece, because he knows that Radahn needs to die. I like the optimism in spite of the situation, you know, like that he's trying his best, and that's why he has such bright clothes, even though they're like annihilated.
The festival begins.
All right, okay. We need to talk about probably the most goated character in this game. If you have not played Elden Ring before, I would suggest you play Elden Ring just for this boss fight. I cannot explain to people how fucking funny it is how Radahn moves around. He has a horse. His name is Leonard. His legs are kind of gone. He got into a scuffle with Malenia and lost his sanity, and his legs have like rotted off. But he has a horse named Leonard that he still loves so much that he learned how to like use gravity magic so he could ride him without hurting him, okay? Radahn is also one of the most hardcore second phases in the entirety of Elden Ring. Or farming as fuck, right? There was screaming the first time I did it. Lore-wise, Radahn is one of the best fights in Elden Ring. In fact, if you watched any of the cinematic trailers for the game before it came out, the moment that Malenia and Radahn's battle came to an absolute standstill is actually animated in full, absolutely gorgeous detail in that trailer. They give you no context for it, they explain nothing, and the next time you find Radahn, you the player, is like 5,000 years later. Like this. Exactly like this. But I can't talk about his design without going a little bit more into his concept art, so let's see it. Yeah. So the first thing you're gonna notice about Radahn is that he's very large. Motherfucker is the size of a boulder. And the second thing you notice, if you pay attention to anything I've talked about character design-wise, is his shape language, which is incredibly fucking square. The dude is a brick wall. I was almost apprehensive to go up to this motherfucker and fucking doink him with my stupid katanas, because I was like, that's gonna do no damage, but guess what? He bleeds, and if he bleeds, we can kill it. Like, he has an incredibly fun design, that of, like, a Grand General that has basically been lost to lunacy, which is entirely his thing. The armor, which was probably at one point very, very shiny bronze or golden, is now stained, old, dirty, covered in, like, red sand. His red cape is completely tattered and destroyed. His horse, once a very noble steed, is now emaciated and for some reason still alive. His name is Leonard. He's doing his best. His back is covered in, like, the weapons of fallen warriors that tried to kill him and failed. He eats people, by the way. And for the most part, if he is not running at you with those phenomenal, gigantic swords, he will also be using that fat-ass bow on his back to yoink shit at you. He uses gravity magic, which you would not expect from someone that size. And it's a cool thing that the concept art doesn't show it, but his attack color is actually purple. Which is great if you put it against the overwhelming amount of warm tones in this design. It's warm tones, but they're very desaturated, which just makes him look really, really sickly. And obviously, he needs to have, like, the red hair. He is Radahnn's son, so, like, it needs to be insane. Insane, super, like, bright, all that jazz. There's so much shit going on with Radahn's design, but it's so badass. And, like, there's so much lore in it, too. It's actually one of the few fights where it's arguably better if you summon companions than if you don't. So Radahn's boss fight, the gimmick is that it's this festival of war, right? And the point of this festival is to kill him. Like, even Jerren will tell you as much. He will be like, I really hope that you can be the one to put him to rest because, holy shit. When you first start the fight, Radahn is not in your face. He's, like, actually running at you from a distance. So you have time to summon a bunch of people. You can summon Therolina, you can summon Blythe, you can actually summon Alexander the Warrior Jar, and you can also summon Patches. If you summon people in Elden Ring, the boss gets more HP, because otherwise it would be wildly unfair. Patches goes in, adds to Radahn's health bar, and then leaves.
Nope.
And that health bar stays the same, because he's a dipshit. Like, but I do think that, like, Radahn's boss fight is worth doing. If you've never played Elden Ring, do it just for this boss fight. The aura farming is insane, the music is beautiful, the character design is spectacular, the lore is actually brilliantly funny, especially when it comes to, like, the horse. And he has a really, really big role to play in most of the game, which is why it's really funny that, like, he's not an obligatory boss. I have a feeling that George R.R. Martin was very involved when it came to Radahn as a character, because he has a decent amount of lore compared to other demigods, like... And again, one of the first trailers you see of Elden Ring is him fighting Malenia. Like, it is full fucking power, by the way.
I have a Radahn Festival t-shirt I wear around, which looks like a normie sports t-shirt.
Oh, I love that,
people who
though.
know always love it. He
Pretty dope.
drifts that horse like he's in Tokyo.
Yes! Like, the way he moves just... Like, it doesn't run. It looks like it's glitched the fuck out, but no, that's on purpose. Like, watching Radahn move across the battlefield, and it's even funnier when he disappears.
But Lily, eating people is one thing. What does Radahn the Starscourge drink to keep himself energized?
Gamer sub! That's what gives him the gravity magic. It's all powered by Lean Mama. As you guys all know, I'm a giant fan of Gamer Subs. It's an energy drink that you can make at home with your own water or soda, or sometimes do what I do and mix it with juice. Fucking tippy top with some flavors, let me tell you. This shit is the tits, chat. You will get no headaches, no crash outs, and the best part, every single one of these little fucking baby tubs, 100 servings. It's a lot of energy, chat. A lot. And don't worry, if you don't like energy drinks, they have caffeine-free versions of everything. I drink most of those because, like, I can't handle a lot of caffeine myself. Delicious, a great way to kick soda. They're all sugar-free and keto-friendly, mind you. And if you guys actually want to try and sleep better, they have AFK now too, which is sleep aid. With and without melatonin. They also have really cool merch, waifu cups, drops by a ton of different creators, like every fucking VTuber on the planet, apparently. And best part is, if you guys ever want me to get my waifu cup, just use code KingMation at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Let G-Subs know that you want that Lily cup, mama. We will make it happen, I swear to God. And with that...
I am not sated. Feed me more death.
So this character is actually someone who shows up really early in game, but he has a bit of a gimmick to him that he will show up much, much later if you finish his quest. It's a pretty dope design, but you don't see a ton of his face. Like Beast Clergyman, he gives you some really cool abilities, mind you. Much like everybody in Elden Ring, this dude looks like he hasn't done laundry in 1,000 years. We don't wash our clothes in Elden Ring, okay? It's like tattered, destroyed, super dirty. They've been wearing the same, like, fucking dirty-ass rag for, like, a bajillion reasons. Okay, let me show you guys this concept. We can talk about the design in a bit more detail. Now, usually you see him hunched over and, like, kind of like, huh. So you can tell that he's kind of, like, Beastman coated. He does have, I think, like, the furry feet and shit. But, again, it's rags. Destroyed hands with, like, big claws, big meaty claws. A lot of, like, tied knots and things on his person. Shape language is also very square, but you can't really get a grasp on, like, his weight and posture from this bit of concept art. It's just, like, the outfit by itself. Gurranq standing is so cursed. I know! Gurranq standing, I hate it because I'm very used to him being, like, hunched over all, like, fucking furry and shit, like, and you don't really see his face much until much later. You don't have to do this quest. You will meet him again eventually, but if you don't do the quest, you won't really recognize him, if that makes sense. A lot of Elden Ring is just like this, though. But again, I have to really appreciate it. I have to really hand it to the design team and to George R.R. Martin, because we will never finish A Song of Ice and Fire ever, ever. For putting so much care and thought into every aspect of this game, even the stuff that it's completely optional. I love it, personally.
Welcome, honored the guest, to the birthplace of our dynasty.
Okay. First of all, Nihil. Mohg has such amazing lore, such a cool design, and to many people's detriment, if you want to play the DLC, you have to beat him. And a lot of people skip over this bit for obvious reasons. It's a very, very hard boss. It took me like 13 tries. It took me like almost 2 hours to even nail it down. He beat the allegations. He beat the allegations! My boy beat the allegations! But Mohg has a really cool design, because Mohg actually goes hand in hand with, I think, Morgott?
These foolish...
This is the second of the Omen twins. He is a great rune wielder. He is a demigod. His thing is that, like, he worships a god of blood, or goddess. I'm not entirely sure what. And his other thing is that he's obsessed with Miquella.
Dearest Miquella.
He beat the allegations of, like, he kidnapped Miquella from the Halig tree and just fucking, like, tried to wake him up by giving him, like, blood and blood and blood and blood. But apparently, Miquella might have done that on purpose. So, this dude had an insane amount of aura. You could find him underground in one of, like, the sealed cities, I think. Very, very cosmic core, yeah. And I love his design because, like, he's, like, a kind of, like, really gnarly looking dude. He's an Omen, which is a type of being in the Elden Ring universe, which is covered with horns and protrusions. They're very monster-like. They used to be considered divine, but then when Golden Order came in, they were like, ew, no. So Mohg, unlike his brother, who accepted the teachings of gold, was like, nah, fam. So tell me that isn't the most fucking badass shit you've ever seen. Now, unlike most characters in Elden Ring, Mohg does his laundry. His robes are pretty clean, believe it or not. They're not very tattered. They're a bit bloody on the hems, because when you're stepping on puddles of blood constantly, well, yeah, that's gonna happen. There's so much detail and insanely good use of color here, because again, his thing is blood, so not having bright red on this design would be a disservice to the character's whole fucking deal. I really like the silhouette, though. Again, very square, very big, but unlike Radahn, there is an elegance to this character, despite the very monstrous nature. Like, the insane amount of horns coming out of his face, his eye, like the really, really weird teeth. He's very poised, if that makes sense. A bit hunched over because of his anatomy, but very poised. I also love the gold detailing everywhere on his outfit, because it looks like Gothic cathedral level decorations on this character. I pray for the sanity and the hand of whoever drew this, because ow, this is a ridiculous level of detail. And then you can see it on the back that just forms a triangle and just kind of meets on the middle. It's a stunning bit of artwork. Even all the little red accents are there. Like, the use of color is beautiful. And you can tell very clearly when you're fighting the boss, this is a very, like, refined person. He's kind of a savage, obviously, for obvious reasons, but, like, the vibe is insanely cool. The drip is immaculate. The detail work here is insane. Shape language is beautiful. And you can just really get, like, the presence of the motherfucker just from this piece of artwork alone. If you thought this was cool, wait, he gets even cooler. Hey, baby! Look at that fucking shit and tell me you don't want to fight this sucker immediately. He has wings, okay, chat? And they're like wings that seem to be almost made out of like very wispy, dusty feathers. The wings themselves have horns on them. And you can actually see his weird trident that looks like a big candlestick, which is like very intricately carved metal. There is Gothic architecture everywhere on this bitch's design. If you guys don't know this about Gothic architecture, it was designed to inspire absolute awe and fear in you, and one of their main cornerstones for Gothic architecture is called the Pointed Arch. And the Pointed Arch is actually present in this weapon as it being the trident. Here, it starts a little bit off the hilt of the thing, and then it goes down into the blades. And it has those like very angular protrusions that's very common in a lot of Gothic churches. And he also has stained glass window like decorations on the stole around his shoulders. It was very fascinating to see them take so much from Catholic church architecture, from the Gothic architecture, to actually build this character. And then if you add the wings, it's positively demonic in the most badass way possible. Like, I was fighting this dude, and I was screaming, but I was also genuinely marveling at how well designed it was, because it was like, holy shit, that's so cool. Like, the shapes, the materials, the colors, every element is placed together with the utmost care and love. And this is for a fucking boss that's optional! But when I say that, like, there was, like, a great filter to play the DLC, yeah, this is it. This is your filter to play the DLC. People complained about how difficult Shadow of the Erdtree was. It's like, motherfucker, if you can't beat Mohg, Shadow of the Erdtree is going to wipe the floor with you. It's just not designed as an easy DLC. Shadow of the Erdtree is designed for people who have beat Elden Ring at least once, I think.
Oh my. Why the long face?
So, I don't know if you guys remember Mushroom Man from the start of the game. You will find this dude again in the Snowfields. It's Yura's body, but you will notice that the body language has changed significantly. This guy will actually try and goad you into getting the worst ending in Elden Ring. Fun fact. Like, Melena's like, please don't listen to him. Like, cough.
You promised me when we turn 14, we go to see the stars.
Can we talk about this one, please? Aureliette was actually like a really, really cute character. You see these jellyfish spirits actually everywhere in Elden Ring. And if I recall correctly, this one had a cute little side quest that made you want to cry. But I actually really like the design of the spirit jellies. They're usually pretty harmless. A spirit jelly is not going to do anything to you unless you attack it, then they will turn red and go for you. But they're basically like a moon jellyfish with longer tentacles. Moon jellies in reality don't have really big tentacles. And I think they're one of the few jellyfish species that you can touch without being horrifically stung. Most aquariums keep them in round tanks because they get stuck in corners. But Aureliette, I think the vibe was to reunite her with her sister, if I'm not mistaken. It was so sad. Cue me fucking crying. Like, this is the concept art of the jellies. Some of them were, like, infected by, like, this gross thing, and those were always hostile, but the blue ones were usually chill.
For all the Albinorics, thank you. Our young yet towering sister will give us hope.
Phillia, Towering Little Sister, is actually the end of the Albinoric quest. You can actually find her in the Snowfields. She's a new type of Albinoric. She's gonna wake up eventually, and she's gonna, like, bring salvation to us all. Something like that. Yeah, big woman, asleep, she never wakes up. Remember that fucking hunched over sucker from before? Yeah, this is him. Yes, wood. Yes! So, remember Blythe and how he's like Rani's attendant? This is Marika's. Now, Maliketh is not an optional boss fight. You actually do have to fight this bitch. If you met him as Gurranq, as like the beast cleric Gurranq, he will recognize you. And he's gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing here? Now, his design is vastly different to the Dog Mortar Hobo. This is actually a lot more elegant, way more armored, and a lot more agile. Now, in-game, his sword lights up with almost like magma, but in his concept art, I mainly want to show like the armor on him, which is very much scaled black armor with a gold trim. I like it though because it's very animalistic while still retaining a very much warrior sense of pride. Like the engraving on the armor, the sword, the wild flowing hair, even the cape, all of it is just very gold. But there is a sense of darkness in it because again, he guards the Rune of Death, so it makes sense that he has Deathblight colors. But his fight is actually really fun, and it shows off how, like, agile the character is just by how he is gestured by, like, the body language and by the intensity in the silhouette, which is very triangular, very pointy. There's a really, really good sense of flow to the whole thing, and that's kind of like the vibe that he gets off. He's very fast, and he has another bit of concept art, actually, which is his hands and his cape, right? So he has, like, some insane jewelry here. And then his cape, which is tattered and torn, but not as bad as other characters in the game. And it has, like, his dagger, his sword in gold, covered in, like, leaves. It's very, very beautiful and very elegant. And despite how much trouble the fight gave me, still would.
Thy kind are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
And let me tell you that when I saw him, did I lose my shit, okay? Morgott is another one of the unskippable, obligatory boss fights in Elden Ring. You actually fight him a few times through the game, but it's not really him, it's like illusions. So when he actually fucking steps up right before you can go into the tree, and gives you shit, it's like, oh fuck, you know? Like, again, unlike his brother, who's very, like, elegantly dressed and has, like, a very air of decorum about him, Morgott is, like, nasty. I'm sorry. Like, he's so fucking gnarly. We've already seen his concept art before because he showed up at the very, very beginning of the game, but I want to talk about his weapons, mainly. Because at this point, he has the Sword of Artifacting.com.org. I don't even know what that shit's made out of. Pure LSD. And the Light Hammer. It's an insane fight. And it's actually really sad because after you beat him, his body, instead of staying an Omen, it actually becomes like a normal human. So it's almost like the Golden Order recognized his efforts to protect the tree and finally granted him divinity. But it's like, oh, fuck you. You waited till he was dead to do it, you bitch.
Upon my name as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
The scream I screamed when I first saw this motherfucker. So Godfrey is actually Tarnished, just like you. And you actually see him a bunch in-game. They talk about him a ton. How he was Marika's first husband, the first Elden Lord. And the cool thing about him is that he has insane barbarian vibes. The dude is gigantic, he's like half naked, he has like a very like cool set of armor, very ancient, giant battle axe. The scream I screamed when I was like, oh, I actually have to fight him. Okay, so, fucking daddy, like, this design is incredibly baller for many, many reasons, and it's not even about the fucking giant lion he has on his back, although in-game it's more of like a spirit. I like his vibe because he's huge. Not only is he huge, he's like, oh, I heard you're coming for my wife. All right, let's dispute that. Why don't I get to be Elden Lord still? So it's one of the very last people you fight in the actual main story. And the design is just fucking spectacular. He doesn't have the same, like, grandiose, like, tree-themed armor that most people have when they're related to Marika. In fact, his is very much barbarian-coded. It's very tarnished. There's a lot of fur. There's a lot of, like, torn fabric. And his main color is actually blue, which is funny because Marika wears a very dark blue dress with golden details. But his is like a lighter blue, and most of his motifs are done in silver. I'm pretty sure that the reason they picked silver for his design is to kind of like emulate the loss of grace that the Tarnished had, because his eyes are gray, fun fact. And they put so much thought into this thing as to how the lion worked, how it was like on his person. It's actually holding him back. Once the lion comes off, the second phase starts, and he will hand your ass back to you in about 50,000 different ways.
I've given thee courtesy enough.
Fun fact, this is Godfrey before he met Mom. Like, the shirt flies off! So does the armor, and we just become like a hulking beast of a man, covered in blood, ready to fucking throw fists at you. When I tell you that this guy runs at you to grab you by the face and punch you to Jupiter, I was really not kidding. Like, it's almost giving Baki with that level of fucking degen. Like, he's so tall. Like, the Tarnished, like, barely hits, like, his thigh. But the neat thing about the design is that, like, we did have to go full barbarian. Like, no more armor, only arm bracers, his crown, blood everywhere, and, like, the blue cape became the fucking loincloth to cover the ween, because, like, otherwise that thing is too powerful. Like, my guy's rocking, like, a 13-incher, and, like, he's coming for your wig, chat. He embraced the Unga Bunga. It was so fun to watch, like, the change in posture and demeanor and how the design changed with just getting rid of the armor. You guys want to see the concept art of the muscle daddy? Yeah. You can see where the lion was actually biting into him. Yeah, that. There you go. It's amazing how much the silhouette changed once we got rid of, like, the lion and the axe and the kingly demeanor. Better, honestly, it fits him more. Yeah, he's out of his element as a king. This is exactly the type of man he was meant to be. This is a Tarnished through and through. The man, the myth, the legend, the blood everywhere. Dorito body.
Heed my words. I am Malenia, Blade of Mikola. And I have never known defeat.
Okay. All right, let's get it out of our systems. Let's get it out of, I am this person, I'm sorry, like. 69 tries and 2/3 of a bottle of port later, and we are here. Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm downing my shot glass celebration! For how long it took me to beat her, and how much alcohol my liver had to go through, yeah, I love her. She has the most beautiful boss arena in the game, gorgeous music, the design is everything. You start with very much like this Valkyrie queen, golden angel with red hair. It's really, really gorgeous because you can see how much she's lost to the rot already. We can also see Miquella's influence as well. She has a very simple design, a very beautiful golden tunic with a white one underneath, her prosthetics, a cape, and her helmet. And I really like her helm because, fun fact, Malenia lost both her eyes to the rot. She might be a demigod, but she wasn't immune to that shit, so she's lost limbs to the shit. She has one leg and one arm. And even though she lost her eyes, somehow she can still see pretty well. Most of her weapons are gold, but they're not the same gold as the Golden Order. It's considered unalloyed gold, basically. 24 karat gold, which is incredibly soft. You can literally bend it with your hands. But it's pure in its purest form. And that's like the vibe that Malenia has. Everything that she's wearing is basically kind of like made by her brother for her to stave off the influence of the outer god of rot. Now, let's look at how absolutely beautiful this design is, please. First of all, Malenia is huge. She's really, really big. She's significantly bigger than the Tarnished. She is Empyrean as well. This is one of Radahn and Marika's daughter, red hair, obviously. And she has, like, the red of the rot, but Malenia's is a lot more vibrant. Malenia does not want to be a goddess of rot. She really does not like that fate at all. She's been trying to fight against it. And most of her color scheme kind of shows a more vibrant, beautiful version of that. It's like a red that matches her hair. I think that the embroidery on the back of her cape is not the Erd tree, it's the Halig tree, it's Miquella's tree. Her outfit is kind of designed to be very Greek goddess-ish, with still a lot of mobility. It has the big slit down the middle that actually lets her move fairly quickly, and her cape actually does not get in the way of her prosthetic. She has a little bit of fur on it because she is in, like, the Snowfield, so it's decently cold. And the thing I would say about Malenia is that she's a very alluring character. You only really see her lips and, like, her chin. The rest of her face is hidden. Like, sure, it's rotting away, technically speaking, but she's still so, so beautiful. And unlike Radahn, which has a very square silhouette, she's more rounded out, but still very slender, and she still has some nice bits of intensity on her silhouette, mainly the wigs on her helm. She's built for speed, and she looks really fast. Her sense of flow is a lot more, like, smooth than Radahn. Like, you see Radahn, you see his silhouette is very chaotic. He has a lot of spears sticking out of him, and, like, his cape is really frayed and gross, and, like, his hair's really scraggly. Malenia has just a very nice, like, just flowing cape, flowing dress, and that's it. But this is actually only her first phase. She has another design, which I think we're going to look at.
The scarlet bloom flowers once more.
This is actually what I think Elden Ring's design at its finest. Now, I'm kind of pissed at them for using their in-game girly pop model because it's not very girly pop, okay? Like, if I had never seen Malenia before and you would have told me this was a guy, I would have believed you. But that is FromSoft's fault, okay? They have, like, two body types and it's, like, more Dorito body or less Dorito body, and they call the less Dorito body one girly pops. In reality, though, the Goddess of Rot design, it's very much like what you expect a goddess to look like. She doesn't actually have wings sprouting from her back. That's all hair and butterflies. You actually see her face in this. Her eyes are like gone. The hair is just bright fucking red. The gold is very much prevalent. So the deal with Malenia, right, is that when she blooms 3 times, she becomes a goddess. Now, we only see the second bloom, and she's already considered a goddess of rot. At the end of this fight, I think she's not dead. She just retreated into the bloom, so she might bloom again at some point. But the design for the goddess of rot is insane. I think I admired it for a solid 30 seconds before she stabbed me through. She doesn't have a ton of HP. Ah! That gave me rot, and they also did the overkill, mother. But it's just so beautiful. See, in this fucking piece of concept art, she has a much nicer figure than in-game. I wonder why. Now, Malenia's body is actually cleverly censored by the rot, because the rot actually causes, like, mushroom-like growths to appear on the person. So she's meant to have, like, a very ethereal type of nudity. It's not supposed to be like, oh, ew, why is she naked? It's more like, why does a goddess need clothes? So her wings are actually butterflies and hair. If you guys didn't know this, butterflies are actually associated with decay, with death. And it's very prevalent in Elden Ring. There's like 3 or 4 types of butterflies that are associated to different demigods, to the Empyreans. And butterflies are actually scavengers. They will feed off of corpses, they will drink blood, they will just, like, you know, feed off rot in general. So I think it's actually the perfect thing to use for Malenia's design. I love it though, because it's an incredibly gorgeous design. The contrast is really, really beautiful. The shape language is insane. Even the way that she's postured is just stunning. Incredibly elegant body, very dexterous, will absolutely slice you in half, slice me in half many times. She still has her prosthetics, obviously, but, like, they kind of take, like, second fiddles to, like, the hair and butterflies. I think that's, like, the main thing. And she also has several attacks where she glows, like, orange. It's absolutely phenomenally done. We don't have many characters left because we're very close to the end of the game, but I wanted to tackle her because, like, God, I love the design so much. Like, you're so hot, but I hate you. Why did you leave Renala like that, you asshole? I love his design, though. It's just another side of Marika. For Radahn, though, the interesting thing is that you can see the Elden Ring inside of him. And his weapon is the hammer, I believe, that Marika used to shatter the thing. So you can see the Elden Ring in there, but the Elden Ring is technically shattered, so it's not complete. The design is, though, incredibly simple. It's literally a breaking apart statue with Marika's dress turned like tunic and just gold coming in from within and like the bright red hair. So the interesting thing about Radahn and Marika is that they're both falling apart. They've been imprisoned in the Earth Tree for thousands of years, but they only really wake up when someone tries to become Elden Lord. And again, his design is actually really simple because it's the male version of Marika with bright red hair, the Elden Ring inside him, and he lost an arm already, and even then he can still kick your ass. That's the worst part. It's kind of like a shattered god, almost like the ring itself, but again, it's one of those things where, like, it shines through in its simplicity, because you would not expect this to be a final boss, would you? And it's not technically a final boss, but pretty close, and it's just a god that's holding itself together by any means possible. And now we talk about her. Mother! Fun fact about Queen Marika, you will only really see her in statues and in this little bit of fucking baby concept art that we have. When we see her in game, she looks very, very different. Marika is actually the most mysterious character in this game, and also the most interesting because of that, because people talk about her all the time. But Marika kind of embodies the Golden Order. She has beautiful long gold hair. Her dress is very, like, dark blue with gold bows all over it, like embroidered gold leaves. She has, like, a belt made out of, like, golden coins. Very delicate jewelry. Like, she looks like a goddess queen. She doesn't have, like, a ton of ornamentation, but what she does have is very beautiful, you know? Is she a good person? No. But yeah, she has a beautiful design, even though you don't really see a lot of her. But I genuinely feel like the mystery behind her character makes her all the more alluring. I'm sorry. She's super ethereal, super mysterious, super beautiful, but you barely see her. I love her crown. That thing is impossible to draw. Also titty. Now, this is her official concept art, which shows the transition between Marika and Radahn as people. It's really cool that she can actually switch genders at will.
Very tragic character. Wants to become a goddess to make sure what she went through won't happen again.
Happens
even
again.
Removing death. Only for her son to die.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that, like, he died in body, not in soul, so he's not technically dead. Yeah, you thought I wasn't gonna talk about the fingers? Well, guess what? We're doing it. So, these are characters. Gross characters. But characters. So, the fingers, the 2 fingers, are considered to be, like, your guides in Elden Ring. They're, like, the closest thing to the greater will that we have, but it's heavily implied throughout the game that they have actually gone senile and that they can no longer communicate with the greater will. But originally, the 2 fingers were meant to serve as the guides for anybody who wanted to become Elden Lord or for Empyreans. There's a bunch of these around the game. Rani has a pair, and there's a pair in other towers as well. They're nasty. In this instance, they're like rotting away. Like, they're hairy and gross, and there's bits of flesh that are like falling off of them. absolutely disgusting, like, but they're pretty important to the lore of Elden Ring, so I figured it would be worth it to show them. So these are just two fingers of one hand, right? Like your pinky and your ring finger. So you might be sitting yourself asking, where the fuck is the other three? Well, in one of the most brutally difficult bits of platforming in this game, meet the thumb and the pointer and middle finger. The three fingers, if you meet these, if you talk to these, and you have to take off all of your armor to do this, by the way, you get the worst ending in the game. You can save Malenia, but she gets giga fucking pissed at you. And the three fingers seem to be like some sort of like deformed, broken, almost burnt pile of fucking flesh. It's really funny how they perfectly severed the hand in the middle to make these, though, because like you have like the thumb and then like the pointer and ring finger, but they're like deformed and burnt and really, really nasty. And yeah, it's definitely super off-putting. They look really, really gross, really, really sickly. And they're just pure evil, honestly. And I do believe with that, that's every character in Elden Ring. Now, I know that I didn't do every boss in here. Maybe we'll do those another day, because there is a decent amount of them. But I wanted to talk about mainly the NPCs, big support characters, and big story characters in Elden Ring, because it's definitely worth looking into. The art style is incredibly ornate, super beautiful, disturbing, but incredibly cohesive. Definitely, like, if you've never played it before, it's a time sink. It's a big game, but it's so worth it for just those little bits of visual storytelling that they like to do. Also, Unga Boonga feels good. Getting, like, a fucking nice build and annihilating everything feels great, okay? Like, I will wait for the DLC before we do this, because I do want to talk about Mesmer, I do want to talk about Mikola, Saint Tree, and all that jazz. They are different characters, though. I consider Shadow of Erdtree a different thing. So I want to know what you guys think. Have you played Elden Ring? Did you like it? Who was your favorite character, boss, whatever? Let me know in the comments. And remember, if I said anything that pissed you off, it's just rage bait, mama. And also, go get some good energy to start your very first Elden Ring run. Go to gamersubs.gg/kikimation or use code kikimation at checkout for 10% off your entire order of the best energy drink in the lands between. It will restore grace to your soul, I swear to God.